That was all shot on the Sony a6700. Now that little sequence was just for the purposes of showing the low light capabilities of this camera, because it has been heavily requested by you guys. There wasn't any story in that sequence, which I think would have made it a lot better, but I only had like an hour to come up with it and shoot it. If you do want to see a more detailed night, I'm going to say short film, but I'm using that term very loosely, then let me know in the comments, because that's something I'd really enjoy making. Today I'm going to be going into detail about how I shot this sequence, and hopefully you'll see that this kind of thing is actually quite achievable and fairly easy to do. I remember when I first started in the filmmaking / content creation industry, I would see a sequence like that and think it was pretty unachievable, especially at the level that I was at. However, that really isn't the case. I personally find that experimenting with light is the best way to learn for me, and that's exactly what I did here. I didn't really have a step-by-step plan for this shoot. I did look at some Pinterest photos to try and get an idea of what look I wanted. I then tried different lighting styles until I was at a point that I was happy. I had 2 people help me out with this shoot. Both of them actually ended up modeling for me, but one of them filmed the whole process of shooting that sequence, so we can dissect it and see exactly what's going on. This was the first time that I had been filmed while filming, if that makes sense. So if you do enjoy this style of video, of me talking about a shoot that I had done with footage, then let me know in the comments, because I think I can make these really, really interesting and really cool, and maybe even talk to the camera when I'm shooting. On my side, I think it just takes a little bit more confidence for me to talk to the camera when I'm on a shoot, because I guess I'm just worried that I'm doing something wrong, but I guess this whole thing is subjective anyway. Before I get into the tools that I used to make this sequence, I just wanted to ask you guys a quick favor. A large amount of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. I really want to get better and better at doing YouTube, like make high quality videos that you guys enjoy and perhaps would learn from. I would really appreciate it if you could click that subscribe button. It would mean the absolute world to me. I never thought I'd say this, but we are approaching 1,000 subscribers, which is just insane. Thank you all so much. So let's get into the gear that I used to make this sequence. The camera I used was the Sony a6700 with a V60 128GB SD card. I have made a video going into the settings that I use for this camera, so check that out if you are interested. One of the lenses was the Sony 35mm f1.8. Another lens was the Sigma 16mm f1.4. I also used the DJI RSC2 gimbal, some step-up rings, a 1/4 mist filter, a small LED RGB light, a small tripod, some atmospheric aerosol, and 2 newer light panels with barn doors. Now there are some things in there that you don't have to use, but that's just what I used for this sequence. Now let's get into the shot setup. To set this shot up, I put one of the light panels behind the car and used the barn doors to try and keep the light as directional as possible, avoiding light spillage. This was just to replicate a car's headlight. My goal here was to get a rear view mirror light shape on my subject's face. I tried different brightnesses and temperatures until I was happy. Then I got my LED RGB light and whacked it on my mini tripod. I went for a kind of bluey green colour because I thought this would pair really nicely with the yellowish tint of the rear view mirror light on my subject's face. This did look really good, however it was a little bit too dark and the bluey green colour was a little bit too strong. So to balance it out, what I did was I got my second light panel and I put that in front of the car slightly to the left. I played around with the brightness until it kind of balanced everything out and it helped tie everything together and make everything look a little bit more natural. In terms of lighting, that's all I used. See? Not so scary, right? For these shots I used the Sony 35mm f1.8 on my camera with the 1/4 mist filter. The mist filter really helps soften the skin and create a nice blooming effect. I had all of this on my RSC2 gimbal, which helped me get some nice smooth shots. You do not need a gimbal, you could go for a more rogue handheld look, or you could put it on a tripod and just use panning. The reason I used a gimbal was because I wanted to get a nice smooth shot going from outside the car into a really nice close-up. The last thing I did to really make this shot look really tasty was I used atmospheric aerosol. This aerosol allows you to get a nice haze in your shot, and it also shows off light rays as well, as you can see here. It's a non-toxic spray, and it really just helps bring your scene to life. For the shots of the subject driving and the other shots like the petrol station and the subject walking along in the car park, I just used the Sigma 16mm f1.4 with the 1/4 mist filter on my gimbal. I don't really recommend filming someone when they're driving, it can be quite dangerous. That's why I needed to use the wider lens, because it allowed me to stay right back and not get in my subject's field of view when he was driving or distract him. Safety first, people. In terms of color grading, well, that is a whole nother video which I will be bringing out the Monday after Christmas, so stay tuned for that. If you want to see some behind the scenes content of shoots or just general content that I don't post on this channel, then make sure you are following me on Instagram at JettReels. It will be the first link in the description below. I've spoken to a few of you on there, which has been really, really nice, and it's just great to network with people and talk about our passion. I just love it. I really hope you found this video insightful. From this video, I am by no means saying that I am the top dog of the industry. I'm always learning and do not know everything in the slightest. I'm just sharing with you what I did to create this sequence because it was heavily requested by you guys. Let me know if you liked this sequence or what you would do differently to light it. I'd love to learn and see what you guys think would look better. I hope you found this video useful. I hope you found it enjoyable. Have a great rest of your day or evening, and I'll see you in the next video.